What's going on, guys? It's Steve. So it has become official. And I'm very sad to be the one to report this news. Now, I am around 12 hours late, but that's perfectly fine. I'm very sad to report this news because growing up, this guy has been one of my favorite players. Now, when I was real young, I didn't really watch him much in Toronto, but I used to watch NBA Game Time every single morning before school. And every single morning, I would see, Chris Bosh dropped 24 and 10. Chris Bosh dropped 35 and 10. Bosh dropped 40 and 10. I would see Chris Bosh doing his thing in Toronto. Okay? You guys don't realize this because maybe some of you guys are a little too young. But before Miami, Chris Bosh was the best big man in the Eastern well, the second best after Dwight Howard. But him, Dwight, Tim Duncan, Dirk, those were the best big men in the league, okay? And Bosh was just dominant, okay? Chris Bosh was that man. There's a reason why LeBron and Wade wanted him. Now, they obviously wanted Melo first, but Melo made the mistake in signing that rookie extension. But Chris Bosh was that man. He averaged 24 and 10 before going to Miami, okay? Listen, it's unfortunate that I have to be the one to report this. He hasn't played since 2015-16, but Chris Bosh and his doctors have just reported that the blood clots have returned and that it's a career-ending injury, meaning he will no longer be able to play because no team wants him to play because it is a risk to his life to play like that. Unfortunately, it's very sad because obviously Chris Bosh played extremely well in 2015-16. He averaged 21 points per game and 9 rebounds per game. That was just last season. That was without LeBron. Okay? So you can imagine if he was healthy with Dwyane Wade on that team, Goran Dragic, Luol Deng, and Hassan Whiteside. If Bosh were healthy and they had Hassan Whiteside and Goran Dragic, that team would be probably the second, third seed in the Eastern Conference. That's the damn truth. So it's very sad, and it just makes me think like it's the end of an era. It's the end of an era because think about it. I grew up watching the beginning of a new era and the end of another era. When I first started watching basketball around 2007, it was like the end of the Tracy McGrady, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. Okay? It was the end of that era. Like, that era only had a few years left. And it was the beginning of the LeBron, the Melo, the Wade, the Bosh. You guys probably don't remember this man, but Michael Redd at one point in time was a top player in the league. Danny Granger was doing his thing. It was the beginning of this new, younger generation. Kevin Durant just got drafted. Okay? It was the beginning of this. Okay? And now, 10 years later, it's like it's almost the end of the era. Really, the only ones left in that era are LeBron and Melo because Dwyane Wade, he's done. He's probably going to retire not this year, but the season after. Okay? Melo's still averaging 24 points per game, but he's not really in the playoffs, So it's only LeBron really. I mean, Melo's still there, but it's really only LeBron left. Which speaks to how good this man actually is at basketball, which is ridiculous. But it's really only LeBron. Which is crazy to me. It blows my mind. It absolutely baffles me that LeBron James is still dominating. But it also speaks volumes like that era is pretty much almost over. And LeBron's the only one holding that era alive still, and it's clinging to like a thread because now it's the new era. Okay? Now it's because you remember, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember this, but Kevin Durant really isn't a part of LeBron's era. He is and he isn't because LeBron, Melo, Wade, and Bosh, they lasted from, I would say they all entered their prime around 2006, 2007. They all lasted around 10 years, right? Okay? But the last few years of that, it was really only LeBron and Melo because LeBron and Melo, I would say they both... All right, I'll say this. LeBron and Melo were both top 5 up until around 2014. Then Melo started to slowly slide down, okay? But LeBron stayed up there. Because obviously LeBron and Melo and KD, the top three players, 2012, 2013, 2014. Then after that, Melo started to slide down. But Kevin Durant wasn't a part of that era because LeBron, Melo, Wade, and Bosh, 2008, best players. 2009, best players. Obviously, Kobe was still there. 2010, best players. 2011, best players. Obviously, Dwight Howard is in this conversation as well. 2012, best players. 2013, best players. That's when Kevin Durant started to come up as one of the best players, right? Now, I would say 2014 is when Melo slid off, and it was just LeBron now. So this era is holding on from a thread. And now it's the new generation. Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. Chris Paul is also a part of the previous era. Okay, so it's the end of the generation, man, and it's weird because it's the first time I've watched a generation from the beginning to the end, and it's crazy. You know, it's weird. I remember growing up seeing, NBA Game Time discussing who's better, Wade or LeBron? Who's better, Melo or LeBron? Who's better, Melo or Kobe? Like I remember hearing those discussions, and now it's like, who's better, Harden or Russell Westbrook? And I don't hear names like Danny Granger. I don't hear names like Michael Redd. I don't hear names like that. It's crazy. Anyway, guys, it's been your man Steve. It's a sad day, but things happen. He had a great career, Hall of Famer without a doubt, a two-time champion, one of the greatest big men to ever play. Definitely a top 15 big man in NBA history. I'm out. Peace.